chair, put up a seat, yeah. Welcome to the atheist round table. We just the dudes that you knew for poking holes in all these fables. Yeah. See, we're just some atheists that got questions like, why does God kill babies with cancer? Hopefully, you can bring some answers. We'll sit back and take notes. Go ahead. Welcome to the atheist round table. Welcome to the atheist round table. Okay. Turn it up, turn it up.
Turn it up, turn it up. Good evening. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. What are you say, Betty?
Oh, I'm always back there like just when it's playing the song.
Getting it. So here we are, the Monday night Tart Live call-in show. As always, your boy Oz is here, and we got Betty Buddha. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. Been waiting a few hours late.
And then Shane the Skeptic. What's going on, man?
Same as usual, just kicking it, corrupting the youth of Athens as always.
Awesome. Well, we can end the show now, guys. So thanks for coming up.
All right.
No, we apologize for being 2 hours late tonight. I didn't realize the way I put it on my calendar was my fault, but I triple booked myself tonight without even knowing it until like 30 minutes before everything was supposed to start. So blame it on Oz. Blame it all on Oz.
I mean, if it was one of the three of us responsible for us being 2 hours fucking late, who would you all guess?
This way.
I'll leave that. I'll leave that to the live chat. Yeah.
Cool. All right. How are you guys today? How was your day?
I'm good. I binge watched a lot of Cosmic Skeptic.
His channel's great.
It is so good. I was doing this like questionnaire thing, and one of the questions was yes or no, which makes it even harder. Would you harm one person if it meant saving three? Basically, like that trolley.
The utilitarian dilemma, or the biggest dilemma that utilitarians face.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was a utilitarian, and then I spent like 2 hours going, oh my God, well,
yeah. Well, I went from thinking I was a utilitarian to not thinking I was a utilitarian to then thinking I was again. And the reason is there's a distinction between act utilitarianism and rule utilitarianism. Have you learned about that distinction?
No, explain it to me.
So on rule utilitarianism, let's say, for example, you have the trolley problem, right?
Yes.
On rule utilitarianism, you would pull the lever to, save the 4 people or the 5 people, and then you'd kill that one person. On act utilitarianism, you would take into consideration that saying that you should have the right to do that, or in the other example where it's like, would you push somebody down a hill, in front of the tracks to stop 5 people from dying as well, being akin to the trolley situation, that even if it seems like it would provide more pleasure or minimize less suffering initially in that one circumstance, what you're then advocating for is a world where as long as you're convinced that killing somebody means you're going to save 5 more people, you therefore have the right to do it. And if more people do that, then it actually minimizes more pleasure for all of us. So you still get more net pleasure if you adhere to respecting a person's right to not be killed, which is the principle of utilitarianism. So that's where I'm at. I'm act utilitarian.
So, okay. So the other option isn't a deontologist? Because I thought that was...
Yeah, so deontologist is in fact the opposite. The difference is, so on act utilitarianism, you're still adhering to the goal of maximizing some net pleasure. The difference is what you take into consideration is even in this one circumstance where you're killing one person to save 5 people, yeah, that's one person and then 5 people, but then you're promoting a world in which people can kill people if they're convinced that doing so will save 5 other people. And if you advocate for that world, then that does lead to less net pleasure. So act utilitarianism is still adhering to the goal of maximizing net pleasure, but it takes into consideration as a whole rather than each individual scenario.
Okay.
Oz is paying attention. He just doesn't understand anything I'm talking about.
Well, we can move on. I'm still like trying to figure this out because I thought I figured out I have a belief. My belief is, remember how I said I didn't have any beliefs? I believe that every sentient being has the right to live. That is my belief. And so if I value that, then I don't think I can get on board with utilitarian
that, and that's
at
one
all.
of the things. Yeah, no, well, that's probably one of the things we would disagree with, because you would probably lead more toward deontology if you believe that there exists this right to live. I don't think that rights exist intrinsically or objectively. I think that rights are something that we prescribe and assign to people. So for that reason, I can't line myself up with deontology.
Well, I don't think it's objective. I think that it would.
But is it?
You can't ground anything. You can't ground anything.
Yeah, but is it intrinsic, like naturally existing? Like, do obligations actually exist intrinsically?
I don't think so.
Okay, so anyway, I guess we're probably getting away from anything we should have been talking about tonight.
Yeah, all right.
So we'll move on.
In the Discord.
You guys have fun. I'll check in here in about a half hour, see where we're at.
That's great.
So that's what I was doing all day today. Trying
to
figure that shit out.
Have you read John Stuart Mill's Utilitarianism?
No, but I was told that I have to.
Yeah, it's a short book too. It's like less than 100 pages. Fuck me, I'm doing it again. Sorry, Oz. My fault.
Maybe this is this is just the universe telling us we need to talk about this tonight, or the Holy Spirit,
or both.
Both.
I guess my dog's in the live chat. Do utilitarians remember to feed their dogs? I fucking fed you. Dogs. Anytime company comes over, my dog will start begging for food and acting like he's starving, like he doesn't get fed. Because he knows if I have company over, I'm gonna want him to like let up. And it's like, dude, you're lying to people. You make people think I don't fucking feed you. It's confusing me with intelligence. Well, that's the goal, I guess.
All the word salads. All the word salads. All right, so phone lines are open 260-225-3868. Let's talk to some Christians. I've been talking to them all night, so I'm already I'm in full gear.
Okay, cool.
Did you kind of do a shout out on the Christian show to call in tonight if they have any questions? Like, did you plug that at all?
On the first one, I did not. And on the second one, it was pre-recorded, so it would have done us no good. It would have been like, all right, if you're listening in the future.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you still could, because we're going to just do this every Monday.
Pretend that you called in.
So people who are listening to this the following Monday, I don't know, maybe see if we're doing a show tonight. Yeah. Or if you're watching this on a Friday, maybe see if we're live right now. Prime rib now and then kill you. See the fucked up part of it? No, it wouldn't kill me, but it might kill you, you little fucker.
Here we go. Shane, do you realize how funny you are? You strike Aunt Jur as somebody who doesn't think you're funny.
Being funny is like being smart or being stupid. Can you know if you're smart or stupid? Like, can you know if you're funny or not? Because, like, if you think your own joke, I don't know. I guess other people thinking you're smart doesn't mean you're smart. I don't know. Shane, I'm stupid. I don't know.
Shane, that was not an epistemic question.
That's a good point. Does he know how funny he is? That's an ontological question. You're not wrong there. I just made an operational modal shift. Okay, that's fallacy. Get it? Call Eddie.
Where's little guy? Where's little guy at when you need him?
How tall is Jeff?
He's. I was going to tell you how tall he is versus how tall I am, but you've never met me in person. He's about, I'd say 6'1", maybe.
So he's tall.
Taller than you would think. They see him on screen. Yeah.
yeah, there was a video that he just posted where he looks really tall, and someone's like, "Dude, how tall are you?" And he's like 5'2", and I'm like, "There's no way he's 5'2".
5'2".
So now I have my answer. How tall are you, Oz?
About 5'10", depending on the shoes, 5'11".
All right, Shane.
Oh, I always have to answer the way that a 4-year-old would answer. I don't just say 6'2". I always go 6'2.5".
Nice. All right.
Every half inch matters.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, in my family, like, I'm the giant. Like, everybody else is like 5'4", 5'5".
Oh yeah,
the giant. Well,
Congratulations.
on my dad's side. You know what, smart asses.
Well, you kept us waiting. What else are we supposed to do? Now we gotta make fun of you.
Back again. You know, I'm glad that she shows up for every single stream.
Biddy,
I'm
how tall are
5'6".
you?
I'm
Okay, you
5'6".
started answering as I started asking. You could see the future.
I saw it in the chat.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point.
God.
Me.
What up, Tang peeps?
What's up?
Someone said that's what he happened. I should get a picture of me and then that quote just. That's great.
Oh my God. All right, phone lines are open 260-225-3868. And I know Christians are usually up at this hour praying or studying or anointing their doorways or doing something silly. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the silly stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm kidding. I know you don't think it's silly. I think it's silly.
Call us and tell us why you think atheism is silly.
Yeah, that too.
You know,
Grumps used to be 6'1".
Cool.
Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I stay up on the chat. But Shane, did you see the little shindig, the little shenanigans that Biddy and I are going to be doing on the 18th of July?
I don't think so. What was it?
We're going to talk about the Satanic Panic.
Oh yeah, with that was I didn't know the date, but yeah, I saw it with Seth Andrews, right?
Yeah, boy.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, I can't wait. We the last time he was on with us, we talked. We interviewed him, about his story and his book. And his newest book, the Fox News Christian, had just dropped, so we got to talk about that. But then we went into I think it's my favorite talk or whatever that I've heard him give is the religion makes me say dumb shit or stupid or something like that. Oh my God. Like, that was one of the first ones going through my deconstruction process that it was the first time I was able to start enjoying the humor and acknowledging that they're being satirical and using humor to point out the major, flaws or just crazy shit that the book says. So I'm really looking forward to the Satanic Panic because for those that grew up in that time, especially if you were a kid, a teenager, and everything got taken from you, G.I. Joe, Smurf, WWF figures, what are your CDs, your T-shirts, like everything got taken away. Why? Because they have the devil.
Did you ever have burn parties with youth groups?
Yeah, we talked about that on Dan's show, the first show I did earlier, and
we totally judged every kid that was like, oh, they had corn or whatever. So
really, there's a lot of shit with corn.
Corn is now that he tours churches, one of the people because he's a born again Christian.
Oh yeah, Fieldy. Yep. Oh, hold on, I gotta take this.
All right.
Did you three catch? Oh, that was to all of us. The other one said all of us. I'm sorry. Did you three catch Seth Andrews with Dr. Josh? Well, real quick. There's this really cool book out now called The Atheist Handbook to the Old Testament by Dr. Joshua Bowen. Now, if we notice there at the bottom, it says Volume 1. What does that mean, Biddy?
That means another one is coming.
Yeah, son. But I did see it. I don't know if the other two saw it, but I did see that episode.
Yeah, I didn't see that episode. You know what I realized today, which is really depressing, and it makes me angry.
Can you do it again?
Angry. Because I'm still deconstructing. Like, I'm still very new to this. And I watched so much YouTube today. And one of them was like I think it was Vice Rhino. He was dissecting some theist's argument or proof for God, or I don't know, whatever the hell it is. And I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm like, yeah. And then Vice Rhino would make a point. I'm like, oh, no. I realized that I do not see. Okay, for the people that were like cradle atheists and stuff like that, I feel like you can pick apart people's maybe I'm stupid. But you can pick apart people's arguments really easily because you're seeing that they're making conflicting comparisons, or all these fallacies and shit. And when you realize that you've been brought up in this type of like how this conversation is constructed, you don't recognize it. Like, I don't recognize when people are saying stupid shit. Does that mean I'm dumb? Or does that mean that's like how I would, like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. But like, it makes me so mad because like critical thinking was never encouraged. It was stifled. You're not supposed to do this. Don't ask questions. And then you just stop. You just stop asking questions. And so now me trying to like be on this call-in show, I don't even know how to ask questions. I have no idea. And like, I get into this mindset where I can't challenge people. Maybe this is trauma, but like, I can't challenge people. I don't know. It's because I was brought up in this type of like, I don't know how to have a conversation. I don't know how to have a conversation.
Well, if I can, I do follow you 100%. So first, I'm going to use an analogy before my brain forgets about it. All of us at one point or another, well, I say all of us, those of us that we can see, we're not blind. When we're kids or whatever, for whatever cool reason we thought up, we stare at the sun for a long time, and then it's that you look away and like everything's gone. It's like it takes a minute for your eyes to get adjusted.
I didn't do that.
Okay, maybe I'm the only one.
Yeah, I think.
No, I got you. You keep going.
When you do that, and hopefully this analogy will help, not just you, but others. It's almost the same effect where you've been staring at that one thing and you've been convinced, and everybody's told you that this is the thing to, to have the blind. You have your blinders on, where I'm just fixated on this. When you finally pull your eyes away, there is that adjustment period where it's slowly you get to see the world,
Mm-hmm.
you get to see the people, you get to see what's going on around you, and you're like, oh, this is what the world looks like. This is what conversations look like. This is what globes look like. All of those things. And some, sometimes it's quick. And for me, it was slower too, where it's like, we can have these conversations, and we can challenge, and we can question, we can do it, and it be healthy and productive. And that, and this is not setting up to plug because it's going to sound like it, but like even the event that we're going to have in October, it's all built around that. It's all built around that, having conversations and knowing how to ask and knowing what to listen for, and when you're listening, seeking to understand, not just listening and waiting for your next opportunity to talk, and
Mm-hmm.
really, really understanding that parts of having a great conversation, there is in my opinion, a quote unquote art to it. And I'm by no means a professional, but I've got better and better and better at it the more I put energy into it, and then to give Biddy a shout out, there's twice we've talked about it, and once I don't even remember how long we were on the phone, but role playing Socratic method, SE, so that she can become more comfortable with knowing, what to ask and what to look for and what to listen for. And you keep doing that kind of thing, you'll be there in no time. You just have to become more and more familiar with, with where to go with each answer, and and how they being the interlocutor, how they respond.
Yeah. It just makes me mad because I feel so behind from where I should be.
Yep. No, I do know.
And then deprived of all that bullshit. Like,
yep.
And they wonder why there's an angry atheist phase.
Right.
Absolutely. What were you going to say, Shane?
This might not surprise you, but I don't remember.
Sweet. But no, it's. Yeah.
Oh, I remember now that you're talking.
Okay, cool. Real quick. Don't forget again.
There you go.
Yeah, Kathy said, Biddy, get books. Get some books.
Books?
Books on asking questions. I purchased games that ask questions to learn how. That's awesome. That's a great idea.
It sounds so stupid. Like, it sounds stupid that I don't know how to ask questions, or I don't know how to deconstruct an argument. I don't even know how to listen. Like, that's sad. Anyways, I'm done.
No, actually, most people feel like they can, but can't. And it's better to not be able to and recognize that you can't than to not be able to and think that you can. And the latter would probably describe most people. Most people, when they try to deconstruct or break down an argument, they don't know the right kind of questions to ask. And it's interesting that I would even suggest that there's such thing as the right type of questions to ask. But I feel, in respect to a goal, and that goal being the breaking down of an argument, there are in fact right questions to ask, and most people just don't know how to ask those kinds of questions.
Yeah.
Shane Skeptic, reread The Moral Landscape, and good luck. A collective opinion of a population segment is a collection of subjective opinions that are not morality. Fall again.
Yeah.
Did you fall?
Yeah. No, Dante thinks that saying fail constitutes an argument. So if you look in the live chat, you'll see Dante first said that utilitarianism fails because pleasure and pain are subjective. Fail. Try again. And I pointed out that I wasn't striving for objective morality. So since my goal was not to achieve objective morality, the fact that I did not achieve objective morality is not a fail, because that was not my goal. And Dante said that subjective morality breaks down, and then called that an argument and said I didn't refute the argument. But merely stating that you think subjective morality breaks down, whatever that means, isn't actually stating an argument. I agree with Mike. Dante should call in.
I was just getting ready to say, yeah, you guys call in 260-225-3868.
Seems like he's got beef with you.
What's beef?
It happens a lot with morality. No, like people, I see objective morality as being very similar to God. The first reason is there's no evidence or good argument for it. But the second is that it really pisses people off when you even suggest that you don't believe in it. Like, if people believe in objective morality and you don't, even among atheists, like when you see comments on debates between objective versus subjective morality between atheists, you'll see the atheists who are moral objectivists. It's not uncommon for them to like hate the person who's arguing against objective morality. Like, it's a very despised view. It's what I've come to find in my conversations.
And the phone lines are open. 260-225-3868. Call. Now. Call. Thus saith the Lord.
Put like a spell on him. You want to call in?
Yes. 100% agree with Aunt Jer. And I found that to be very useful.
Show me an example of that.
Okay, so if somebody is describing what they believe, and you ask them, okay, so what you're saying is, and then you put it in the way that you understand it, and that gives them the opportunity to correct you if you're wrong about what they think. And I've had that happen when I used to do Atheist Vanguard, where I would ask people a series of questions, and I would repeat back what I thought their answers were and go, "Are you saying this?" And there were some times where they felt like I was putting their argument forward in good luck. Take a beak. He'll take a beak and wreck me.
Is that similar to hey, you fell? You fell instead of failed? You fell?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely. But no, if Dante wants to call in, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and on what Andrew said, it's very very line Biddy the day I think it was you and I and Dadpool were talking, where there's sometimes asking or answering a question with a question that would be along the same lines, because you can repeat back to them in a question form what they said in order to gain more clarity.
Yeah.
And I'm always happy. Of course, you could be proud of yourself if you got it correct. If you're like, okay, that is what they think. That is what they're saying. But then if you're wrong, it's like, okay, good thing I didn't then criticize this view that they don't actually hold. Because then I'm wasting my time. But
so sensitive.
Yeah. Hey, that's what happens when you don't believe in objective morality. People get really mad. I told you.
Don't think that word's very respectful.
Not
I mean,
at all.
I wouldn't say that all moral objectivists get angry, just many of them. It's, and I get it. They conflate it with moral relativism, which is worth despising. So.
Oh, yeah.
I try to watch Anthony Magnabosco. I think I have ADHD.
I remember I used
it's
to.
Too boring. I don't feel like I'm learning.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I used to listen to Anthony's videos on my headphones at work. This was before I started doing Atheist Vanguard, and actually, part of what motivated me to start doing street epistemology myself. And that obviously led to me doing Atheist Vanguard. I remember I used to just listen to the conversations he had while I was working. That's how I get through most of my content or audiobooks or whatever, is since I'm allowed to wear headphones at work. I just do it while I'm working, and then I don't have to spend all of my free time doing that shit.
That's pretty cool.
All right, well, we'll take another network break. There's a new book out. It's called The Atheist Handbook to the Old Testament. It's by Dr. Joshua Bowen, Volume 1. Biddy, what the fuck does that mean?
That means there'll be a Volume 2.
Volume 2. And then, Shane, could you guess there may be a Volume 3?
You can guess that there is a goal for there to be a 3. People die, so
Gosh, Shane, you gotta be a Debbie Downer.
It's a wonder why I upset anyone.
Uh-oh. We have a phone caller.
Uh-oh.
Who'd that be?
I don't know. They're gunning for you, though, Shane. So I'm just going to sit back and try to listen.
Don't let the live chat distract you too much. I also make that mistake.
All right.
Yeah, I'm like just paying attention to that.
Hello.
Hi, who do we have the pleasure of speaking to?
It's Aunt Kathy, Shane. How are you?
If not one of the best callers, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I had something came to mind. That Biddy said just a few minutes ago. I've been reading this book called Religious Refugees, and in the chapter I read today, his last name is Kerrit, I think, Kerrit is the author, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, he was talking about in the deconstruction process how it is a death to us, that we have lost our God and everything that was a part of that quote unquote relationship. So we kind of go through the steps that a grieving person would,
Yes.
with the anger, with the grief, with the numbness, the unclearness in our thinking processes. And
Right.
also, just to mention that it's been 50 years of crazy charismatic stuff, and the last 2 or 3 years, I've really been working on learning how to ask questions. So I'm much older than you, Biddy. You've got plenty of time to do that.
Well, people die, like Shane said.
Wow.
No. But
That got dark.
there's so much that we lost that we're anxious to get it all back at one time, and it doesn't work that way. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I get very impatient because I want it all to be different right away. And it's like, I should be able to make up for this faster than it is, but
Yeah.
it doesn't always happen that way.
Right.
Of course,
Well,
my brain's a little older than yours too, but
I think that what you're saying is absolutely correct about it being very similar to a grieving process. I'm almost even reluctant to use the words similar to. I think I might even be willing to just go as far as saying that it's a grieving process, because you experience a relationship and then you find out that this being that you had a relationship with doesn't exist, or at least you have
Right.
no reason to think it exists. I'm actually going to go with doesn't exist because of the type of God that I used to believe in. So I guess one good analogy that I kind of just came up with now is like, if you thought you were in a relationship with someone that like you met online and you thought you really knew each other really well, you connected, you had this chemistry, and for years you were together. If you found out that it was just like a bot, like if it was just like a really good robot that seemed like a real person talking to you, you would go through a grieving process. You'd be devastated that somebody that you loved didn't actually even exist. And I think that's very similar to what happens in the case of believing in a God and then finding out that it isn't there. You know, it's been there for you. Like from the moment you were, not the moment you were born, but the moment you were starting to think and having ideas conveyed to you, there was something in the sky. It was looking over you, right? So you also have that paternal kind of connection with this being that doesn't exist, and losing it might be in a few ways very similar to grieving the loss of a parent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My train just jumped the track. It's past my bedtime, guys. I didn't take a nap today to prepare for tonight. See.
No,
Anyway,
it is 100% in line with grieving a lost, family member, friend, whatever person close to you, because that is exactly how I felt, and I've shared it live. I don't know how many times on here. I had moments in going through that. And granted, I was going through a disgusting divorce at the same time. That did not help anything. But even the God part of it, there were those nights where just aside from the divorce, the God part of it, that I felt like I was just like 100% lied to and abandoned. And abandoned, because everybody that always told me that these things were true now don't want to talk to me. Like now that I'm asking these questions and now that I'm challenging it, now they disappear. And there were nights where those were very lonely nights and very dark nights for me. And when I say dark, psychologically, emotionally, where it's like, if all of this has been a lie, if everything that I've done up to this point has been a lie, why even be here? And like that's where my brain was then. You know,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
even be here? Because
But
whatever the next thing is it a lie? You know,
Right.
well, yeah, it's understandable. That's very understandable to be devastated. Really, it is devastating,
Yeah.
especially
Um,
the longer you're in it, the more devastating it is.
I'm
When
glad
you
that you said that.
finally let the lights come on. You know,
Um,
you
yeah,
have to be the one to let the light come on. But when you do, it's sort of like, I don't know. I see like myself. I used to pull the chain and let the light come on and then turn off, then come on and turn off. It's like I don't want to believe it, but I have to at some point.
Yep.
You know, I have
Right.
to admit that so much of this that I clung to was just a false reality. And that's the hard. I think that's one of the hard parts as well with this deconstruction is how you've lied to yourself.
right.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
And
and
you
I just wanted to add one thing. I was glad that you mentioned that the longer you were in it, the worse it is going to be, or at least in most cases. And I consider that a lot, and I just think about how fortunate I am to have left my religion at 13 and become atheist at 17, because
oh my gosh.
there are a lot of people that I talked to that they deconverted when they were 45 or something like that, and they just feel like they wasted a lot of their time in life, dedicated to this thing. So I always have to consider that I'm fortunate to not have gone through that, and try to consider what it must be like to be in that position. And I would always encourage people to find something that they could take away from it. So what were some like benefits that you found? What were some things that you learned in it that were actually true that you could still verify today? And try to make what you can out of these things. But yeah, I think it's also very important for us to not deceive ourselves for the sake of being optimistic. I would say in any circumstance where you have the opportunity to be optimistic and you're not lying to yourself, then take it. But if optimism requires dishonesty, then I'm gonna have to do without it.
Right. That's very true. I turned to a believer at 16, and I didn't start questioning until in my early 60s. That's a lot of years.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, one thing that I started doing today was making a list of what were the positives I gleaned out of that time.
yes,
Right. And this is something that
all the negative.
I asked the author DB Ramsey, the author of the book Speaking of God, We Don't Know Shit is the title of it. I had him on my channel, and I asked him something about, did he regret being theist or being Christian for as long as he was? Does he feel envious of people like me who left the faith at a much younger age? And while he did admit that there was some envy for being able to have most of the life experience from that perspective, he acknowledged, so in his case, for example, he met his wife at church or at some church event. So it was some religious event that caused him to meet the person that he's still in love with today. So if he didn't have the beliefs he had at that time, he wouldn't be with the person that he's with today, and he's happy to be with that person. So, of course, you have situations like that where it's like, if you could go back, would you change it? And his answer would be no. So you could consider, who are some of the people that you've met at church that didn't disown you when you left church? You should consider the fact that you met these people through your beliefs. So you could at least take into account the fact that at least now these people. And, there are takeaways from it.
I have one friend.
yeah.
That's
Right now I have one friend.
Yeah, that's and that's one more than I have, or a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what and Kathy, what you just said a minute ago, I actually love that you brought it up, and Shane, that you were highlighting it, because I was on Dan's show earlier, and go check him out.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It's the Dear Christians podcast, and he's trying to do this kind of the same thing. There is normalizing the conversation, and making it like cool for us to talk and to be peaceful. But when we were backstage before the show started, I told him, I was like, look, I don't mind talking about the negative implications that Christianity, and specifically the evangelical, charismatic form of Christianity had.
Right.
But I'm also not afraid to talk about some of the positives that I took away.
Right.
And
that was a mistake I made when I first became a little bit more vocal in my anti-theism, is I was too reluctant to admit anything positive, any good takeaways, because I just didn't want to credit Christianity with anything, but now that I'm more...
Well, you were still dealing with anger there.
Right. But now that I'm,
you don't
just
want to admit positive.
more critical of my thoughts, and having less of that anger, and just being a philosopher, I know, like, I can't discredit an idea based off of where it came from. That's just bad philosophy to do so. So, if somebody tells me one of the best quotes I've ever heard, and I go, that's a good quote, if they then go, oh, guess who said that? It was Jesus. That isn't a defeater for me, because I could do something if I agree with the idea itself. So there's still anything positive to take away from it, go for it.
Yeah, and it does. The reason I said I love that, and Kathy, you brought it up and you highlighted it, is because that is important that we can do that, right? And share those things, because it does help us in our processing, in our journey. But then it also helps us once we can get there, because we kind of the main I guess goal or highlight right now is better conversations. I can tell you right now, when I can relate to a Christian and they're like, oh, this, and there are things that they lay out that I'm like, oh no, I can 100% connect with that. Like that was a positive for me. Like I enjoyed that part of it. And that is where you're building the rapport. You're building that relationship with them, that they know that they're talking to somebody that understands where they're at, understands, what it's like to not hold that part of the belief, but to have that emotional connection or investment into that. And now you're setting yourself, both of you, up for a rich conversation.
Yes. And it's one thing with this, I look at it not as just a deconstruction, but if you're deconstructing, to me, it means you're going to reconstruct. And in being honest in these areas, it helps us to not keep in that victim mentality that could really lay a hold of some people because of what we missed or how we were mistreated or misled or whatever. Feeling of victim, that's a big part of the anger part, I think. But we've got to make choices to step away from that.
Right. But in any circumstance where somebody can take on a victim mentality, it's also important to kind of find a healthy balance between not wanting to take on a victim mentality, but also not denying instances where you've been victimized, because it's important to recognize it too. Right. So if you have some examples, and I wouldn't have said this if I thought it was private, but Biddy, you stated on the show that your mom, when you told her you were an atheist, she said something to the effect of she hopes that your kids die or something so that you find God. That is a form of victimization that Biddy has experienced from Christianity. So she would be within her rights to say that in that sense, Christianity has led to her being victimized. It directly caused that victimization, and that's a justified reason for there to be hard feelings toward the religion. And I think it's it's possible to take it to an unhealthy extent where you just live in victimhood, but it's also unhealthy to just not recognize where you've been wronged.
Yeah.
Victimization is also when you are not allowed to read anything outside of the box.
Yes.
Or participate or, do these things that normal people do because it's not allowed. That's victimization.
Yeah, being Catholic, that was a big one for me.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
because you know, when it came to like asking questions and not only not being answered, but being like frowned upon for asking the question, it was like, okay, hold on. Now I'm only more curious. Why am I not even allowed to ask that?
I think that's where I'm at, because I do feel like I grieved that relationship, or that feeling of having someone there, and now it's just shifted to I should have got this. I should have been able to do these things. I should have been able to ask questions. Like, when you recognize how toxic your environment was, and I'm going to cry, and then realizing you don't get to have something that was good for that whole time.
Exactly.
And then you recognize how healthy it is outside of it. And it's, I guess, seeing the benefits and seeing the positives. But
yes,
wishing you never had to go through that shit.
Yep. Absolutely.
No, you wish you didn't, but you're out of it now.
Right.
You're out of it now. So we're building and looking into something new. Yeah. Don't let it swallow you, Biddy.
Yeah.
Don't.
And it's just,
I know it's another step, but don't. Today I was the back and forth about prayer, because my mom is very sick and in the hospital. She's 88 years old. And it's like, you know, a year and a half ago, I'd have been praying up a storm. Today, I've been very peaceful, but yet I'm concerned. And I know other family members are, well, Austin and I have shared a few quotes that have been shared on prayers that have been offered for her, which I'm not mocking that, but just knowing that, wait, that's my mom. And if there's divine intervention, sure, I would like to have it, but that's not reality. You know, I mean, I'm seeing that now. There's not anybody up there that's gonna, you know, make this go away.
And I think it's better to, because a lot of people feel like, you know, if I encourage someone to question their belief, that I'm doing this bad thing because I could potentially be taking it away from them. I think if it be the case that I could take someone's belief away from them, per se, then I would, because I think it's a lot worse if you think that there's a God who can help you, who can be looking after you, who is choosing not to, than to simply not think that it's there. It hurts a lot more to think that somebody can help and is choosing not to, than to understand that nobody can help you. And in either way, you're left with something difficult to accept, but it's so much more hurtful to believe that there is someone who is currently able to help you, currently able to end all of your hardships, all of your suffering, and they're just making you go through it. And that's just not healthy for people. So I understand that it could be sad for when people think there isn't someone looking after me, but it's so much sadder to think there's someone who can be and isn't.
And isn't. Well, Biddy, I am your surrogate mama, and I am reaching out to you with a great big hug. Remember that.
Thank you. I'm going to hold you to that.
On me anytime. Hey, anytime. I will tell you how you can get a hold of me.
Perfect.
There's a few things.
Your mama.
There are a few things that suck about. Yes, there are a few things that are difficult about most of your friends being other streamers and YouTubers. Is one, if we all have the night off, we can't really hang out, and the other is you can't hug someone when they need a hug, and that's whatever. But once I'm here, I'm like, okay, this sucks. But
Real quick, Kathy, before you go, and then I'm going to let you have the final word. But I think we need to do this while you're on here, because this has been a great conversation. So, if you are I did a pretty good job tonight, but usually when I hear other people getting choked up over their experience, that and you're still thinking and processing and doing all those things, it hits me in the feels, because I know that feeling I know that feeling, and it can be frustrating, it can be angering, it can be also freeing at the same time. It's weird how all of those feelings mix together. But if you are listening to this, you're watching this right now, and maybe you're not even making comments in the chat, or you watch this in the future, or listen to this in the future, please go to recoveringfromreligion.org. And they are unbelievable. They're amazing at what they do. Go there and talk therapy is one of the most amazing things you can do, and will help you process. And they have people there that are trained and ready to have that conversation with you. And know two things: one, you're not alone. You're just not alone. I know. I thought it. I'm sure Biddy thought it. I'm sure Shane thought it. I'm sure Aunt Kathy thought it. That I know when I first started, and I remember nights sitting in my apartment by myself, scared to death, because I'm like, nobody else is doing this. I don't know anybody else. I don't know anybody else that is doing this right now. I was scared, like anxiety.
I would actually say, like, I don't know, maybe we would word it differently. I wouldn't say I thought I was alone. I would say that at that time I was alone. There was a while right after I became an atheist, I moved to Texas. I didn't have any friends here because I didn't grow up here. I didn't know about any atheist communities. And though I left the ACA, I'll always be grateful to the community that it was being there at the time that I needed it. I'll always have to be appreciative of that. But for a while, I was, like Oz was describing, you're thinking nobody else is doing this. Like, I'm looking at these verses in the Bible where God's talking about slavery and shit. And I'm like, this is horrible. Reading these verses about killing gay people and bashing children against rocks. And I'm just like, what is this? And then also having someone evangelizing to me at work every day wasn't making things any better. So, yeah, no, sometimes some people are alone, and that's why we're trying to get out there, and they don't have to be alone. There are those groups that Oz mentioned, and we're building a community here as well, though we're not experts. So go to experts if that's what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Shane, what you said, you're absolutely true. And I probably sugarcoat it when I say that, because in that moment, when it came to that part of my life, the belief, the religion, I was left alone. I think that's even still a coping mechanism for me. When I say I felt, I didn't feel I was, I was abandoned. So first of all, you're not alone. Like, we got you.
Right.
Whether it's recovering from religion, or you want to come and talk and chop it up with the folks here at the Atheist Network group, we're here for you. And then the second one, you can do this. And you got this.
Yes.
And you have a support, whether you know it now or you know it later, you have a support system behind you that will help you any way we can, support you any way we can, love you any way we can. And just know this, we're not perfect. We're not perfect, but we will do our damnedest to help you get what it is you need, to get you in contact with the relationships you need. But just know those two things. You're not alone, and you got this. You can do this.
Can I say something real quick?
Great.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
So, and the difference between us saying that, like, we're here for you and all this stuff, there's such a contrast between, at least I experienced, between seeking help when I needed it from the Christian community and never once getting met with vulnerability or empathy. It was shame and guilt. But when I came to this community, the atheist community, it was all empathy. And people were willing to be vulnerable with me and say, I've been there and this was my experience. And there's connection in that sort of character quality. And so it was, yeah. I don't know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
There's a stark contrast when we say we're here for you versus what the church says when they're here for you, because it's
right. I think if you're going to tell someone you're there for them, you must necessarily be willing to hear their questions and what they are thinking. When you start guiding them away from the thoughts they're trying to tell you, you're not there for them.
No.
You all are real. You're not plastic Christians.
Amen. Amen.
Good night, y'all.
Love you.
ya.
Good night. Be safe.
Bye.
All right, real quick, a couple of super duper chats. Secular Rarity for $10. I'm glad she stops by each and every time we stream. Just sending love to the channel. I appreciate y'all, and we appreciate you. And the reason I say she, Secular Rarity is not a she, but Nate totally fucked it up on one of his streams and called Secular Rarity she. So I just keep saying she because now it's a running joke between Secular Rarity and Nate and I.
Why did nothing about that title indicates gender or preferred pronouns? So how do you?
I don't know.
How do you do that? How do you just assign she?
No idea. This is not a super chat, but I do want to hit this real quick. Raging Atheist, and I've been on his channel a couple times. First of all, I'm glad you're here, man. Appreciate you. And yeah, I know when it sucks when it sucks, and yeah, we won't go into all of that again. But you know how to get a hold of me. You and I have had offline conversations, several. I think many. I could probably say many times at this point. And I know on the Saturday, you had clicked on the Facebook thing that you were interested in coming to the regional meetup. I hope you come, man. I hope you come and you hang out. And even if it's just me, you, and a few other people, that you can establish those relationships and friendships. But just know I got nothing but love for you, man. I hope you can come for real.
Right, and I would say, in respect to the Raging Atheists comment, that well, first of all, I've seen some of your content and I've liked most of it. So shout outs to you. But other than that, I would say that, and this isn't a criticism or judgment of you, but it's probably not a complete coincidence that somebody who has been feeling alone because of, as a result of atheism for 20 years. I shouldn't even say feeling, I should just say being alone as a result of atheism for 20 years probably has to do with some of the rage that is in, the title, The Raging Atheist. And I think that not every atheist is going to be in that rage. I think it is important for there to be a voice for that rage because there are a lot of people who, one of the reasons I was able to sort of mellow out in my discussions with Christians was because of the fact that I was able to talk to other like-minded individuals like myself, and kind of that helped me out a lot. But if you're an atheist and the only experience you're getting with Christians is they're trying to evangelize at you all the time, they're always trying to convert you, they're always criticizing you and saying that you're sinning, well, then you're going to be pretty fucking mad. And of course, a lot of people are in that situation, and the people in that situation need a voice. So I think, the atheist movement needs people who aren't currently raging, but it also very much needs those voices that are.
I agree.
And real quick, one more super chat, then we can have our final comments, final conversation. We'll wrap it up and go to the Discord. Donna with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Donna. Donna usually hits us with the super chat at the end when she's like, "Oh, Biddy and Shane are so goddamn smart. Is there enough money in super chats that I can put in here to get rid of Oz?"
Aww.
I think
Tree Fitty.
Is that a South Park?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Get rid of
only
Oz for Tree
episodes I
Fitty.
know.
but Tree Fitty. And then oh yeah, there it is. So for those in the Midwest, sorry Shane, the Tang region. Oh,
not only am I not in the fucking thing, but it's blocking out my face.
I gotta
great.
figure out this whole. It's this hand there.
So, right there. The Tang Regional Meetup in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's this Saturday, June 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. No tickets needed for this one. We will be meeting at 301 West Jefferson Boulevard in downtown Fort Wayne. It's a good-sized Irish pub. They have a back patio that overlooks the ballpark of the AAA team we have here. But they have pool tables, what is it, the golf, virtual golf or whatever. And there's all kinds of shit to do right around there. So if you're in the Midwest, you want to make that trip, love to have you. Love to have you. Were you about to throw up gang signs? What are you doing?
What are you talking about?
This is Luna. Everyone's
Yeah,
asking.
let's talk about Biddy's cat.
The Luna. She fat. She
Oh,
fat cat.
super chat. Shane, come on my show tomorrow.
Well, it is definitely worth
Imperative.
addressing in the super chat. I've said this before, Neil. You probably weren't listening the last time I said it when I plugged your show, by the way, because I do think it's a great show that you do. I've noticed that it seems to be mostly, or maybe entirely, deconversion stories that you do on your channel. I could hop on the channel for the after party. The only reason I haven't been on for the deconversion story is I was going through a lot of trauma that I haven't really readdressed in the time that I was deconverting, stuff that isn't even related to the atheism, and then some that is. But because of the fact that I haven't even revisited a lot of that trauma, I probably shouldn't do so on a live stream for the first time. And for that reason, I'm willing to be on your show in the after party. It may be some time before I'm in a place mentally where I could do a live stream about my deconversion story. And I'm an open enough book to say that much.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And I know Neil well enough to know that he's going to say, cool. But before
I
we
want to hang out with Neil.
You and me both. Let's go to Canada.
I'm trying to.
Canada.
Borders are closed.
Before we talk about the big event and then sign off and then go to the Discord, there's this thing that happened. There's this thing that happened. It's called a book, the Atheist Handbook to the Old Testament. By who, Shane?
I think Dr. Josh Bowen.
Dr. Joshua Bowen.
And I think it's volume
1, right? Is that what you see, Shane?
Yeah, that does say volume 1.
Okay, volume 1. And then Biddy, what does that mean?
Yeah, Biddy, not me.
That means another one is coming.
Is coming? Okay.
Another one is coming. That sounds so strange right now.
Another one is. Damn kids, get your mind out of the gutter.
Setting me up for that.
Doom. Another one is. Never mind. And then if you go to get this too, you get a combo. You get a combo on Amazon right now. Did the Old Testament endorse slavery? By who, Shane the Skeptic?
Dr. Joshua Bowen. And
guess what? There's only one volume.
Damn. Damn.
All right. So there's been a few people in the comment section that have asked, and holy shit, hold on. Mike Mobley, thank you so much. $20 super chat. Appreciate the support. All the love. But we did finally confirm dates. And 1 second.
COVID.
Ha.
COVID. For the big event. It was supposed to be in end of August. It is now the second weekend of October here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So October 9th and 10th, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
I hate
Even I'm going to be there.
Ticket prices and everything's going to be out. Hopefully the next two weeks is kind of the goal. I was supposed to go meet with the hotel people today, but they weren't there, so I'm going tomorrow. I'm gonna meet with them, get the venue and the hotel blocks and all that taken care of. But right now, I know for sure, for certain, that we have Dr. Josh. No kidding. No kidding. No kidding.
I want to get Dr. Josh drunk,
wasted,
shit-faced, crawling to his room. I feel like that'd be fun.
Dr. Josh wasted. So Dr. Josh, the one and only Anthony Magnabosco. Then one of my favorite human beings that I've ever met in my entire life, Dave Warnock. Cynthia McDonald's coming. And I have two that I'd previously had locked in, but now that we had to change the dates, I'm waiting to get those two locked in again on those dates. But we're gonna have a blast, and it's gonna be a great event.
It'll be so fun.
Once we get it out there, get the tickets and all that out there, y'all motherfuckers better show up. No, I'm kidding.
There better be at least 3 people in that crowd.
Look, I'm telling you right now, we're getting a beautiful
aim high.
We're getting a beautiful venue. It's a beautiful venue. It's sexy as hell. The rooftop bar,
sexy.
Oh boy, the rooftop bar that we'll have for the after party Saturday night overlooks the city, the baseball field. It's gonna be a bunch of badassery. Be there. All right, guys. Anything you want to say before we close it out and go to the Discords?
Just one thing. I think Kimmo said that she or he or they can smuggle people into Canada. Yeah, do that
Well,
for me.
Snitch them out live. Damn.
I bought a house in Canada a year and a half ago, and I can't fucking get there. So.
Oh, really? That fucking sucks.
Yeah, and I bought it without looking at it. So I kind of need to get there because I'm paying for a house. But I can't. So if anyone knows how to get me there,
I could have
and
corrected
illegally,
Oz
I'm okay.
On the tune of that song, except it was so off that now it fucked up my version of it. Now I don't know how it goes.
What song?
Oh, Canada.
All I know is that that's wrong. I don't even remember how it actually goes.
Lame.
I just know that Oz was he was so far off that I now have no memory of the correct tune.
We had people call in Nick on Kathy.
Yeah, Nick, take your 975 penny suit jacket back to Goodwill's. Be done with it.
Boom, roasted. I'm just gonna start doing that. I'll follow you around at the event, and when you say a line, I'll just go boom, roasted behind you.
The hype man everyone needs.
Hell yeah.
So, real quick, and then we'll go to the Discord. But Betty, on July 18th, what do you have going on?
Oh, I will be hanging out with Seth Andrews on Tang. I do have a show coming up on the 20th, which is like next weekend. I'm going to be on the line with Shannon Q. What?
Oh, good for you. Cool. Good for you. That's awesome.
Shannon asked me. I'm excited.
That's awesome. Remind me of that so I don't miss it, because when I set reminders for shit, I never get the reminders. So please remind me, because I want to watch that.
Perfect.
Cool. Shane, you got anything coming up?
Well, not other than that October event that we got going on here, the Atheist Network group, as Oz announced earlier. Pretty soon, I will be, in the next 3 weeks or so, I'll probably have my video debunking some Tupac conspiracy theories out. So look forward to that. I think that'll be, like Oz said, now there's an actual good reason to go to my channel. But yeah, so there's actually going to be a reason to go there in a few weeks. But right now,
is there a big need to debunk? Is Tupac still alive?
Yes, there is a need to debunk that. You have no idea just how common the belief that Tupac is alive and currently living in Cuba is. There are multiple conspiracy theories about Tupac. One is, there are a few about who actually killed him, but the most common one is that he's actually still alive and he's living in Cuba. And I believed that up until I was like 16 or something. I believed a lot of dumb shit growing up, actually. But maybe I'm wrong and Tupac comes back the day before Jesus does, but
maybe he is Jesus.
It could be. Yeah, so oh wait, no, hold on, there's a correction. Tupac is alive and on an island that he bought back in the day. Not Cuba. I fucked it up. No, the more common one is that it's Cuba. But hey, why not go for both?
Run with me, Hail Mary.
Shut up, Oz.
That was Tupac.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
you're just really bad.
Boom, roasted. Sorry, Oz.
No,
See, this is the number one reason we need Biddy.
No,
it's the only thing I'm good for.
No, it's just the thing that you're best for.
No, right. So Biddy, he's muted. You don't.
Great.
You don't say that. You don't say that when he's talking. You say that when.
Oh shit! Sorry.
All right.
I like how your first attempt to mute me was actually just make me the one on.
Yeah, like that.
Doesn't matter if you do it successfully the second. Fucked it up the first time. Doesn't matter. Is it really an episode of the Atheist Roundtable if I don't get Oz to take me off at least twice? At least twice.
True.
Oh, all right, guys. Well, run with me, Hail Mary.
Hey, where's the Biddy Globe? That's a good question, Chef Josh. Why the fuck am I the only one?
Well, because you complained that was the only thing you had
going for me.
For you. So I didn't want to take that away.
You don't want to take that? That's so sweet of you. Thank you.
I am sweet.
I appreciate that.
God damn it. Banana Man.
Oz needs a map of flat Earth in his background whenever he's on with Shane.
Oz needs what?
Map of flat Earth in his background whenever he's on with Shane.
I could do a globe on the fish tank.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
In this thing.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
End this shit. This is horrible.
Oh, Comment of the night. Hold on, we gotta get this ready. Comment of the goddamn night.
Drum roll.
Turn this up. Turn it up.
Are you waiting for the comment? Oh, there we go.
Jesus is a myth. You're welcome.
So confused.
See, it's catching on. It's catching on already. Mm-hmm. See, guys, you laugh at me and you make fun of me, but it's catching on.
Catching on, sure. That's one way to word it.
Boy, yeah. What was he talking about?
Terrible trend. All right, guys, Discord.
I put the even Biddy is now pushing me out.
Shane is a myth.
Here it is, right there.
Or maybe Shane used to exist, and I am merely Darth Skeptic pretending to be Shane.
No, this is
it's kind of like
or a lizard person
thing.
Probably a lizard person.
Probably.
But really, it's just.
Is it
All right,
a
guys.
pondering? I want to know how to do it correctly. What are we doing it to?
I think it's half pondering, half like I'm enjoying the pondering, so it's like half and half.
You know, speaking of utilitarianism, immorality is actually the causing unnecessary suffering of other people. And so therefore Oz is causing unnecessary suffering. Therefore Oz is immoral. Oz is being a bad person. Stop the suffering. Stop the unnecessary suffering of our viewers, please.
See, we're starting it.
Oh fuck! Now you're making the viewers immoral too. You're doing bad shit. Knew you atheists were all. I mean, we atheists, because I'm definitely an atheist.
That was
I'm Shane. I am Shane.
All right, so we're gonna hit the outro. We'll see you guys at Discord.
Turn it up. What up? Yeah. Grab your chair, put up a seat, yeah. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. We just the dudes that you knew for poking holes in all these fables. Yeah. See, we're just some atheists that got questions like, why does God kill babies with cancer? Hopefully, you can bring some answers. We'll sit back and take notes. Go ahead. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table. Welcome to the Atheist Round Table.